Welcome back to From the Stands podcast. From the Stands, by the fans, for the fans, from the stands. My name is Khanyo and I'm your host. Today I'm joined by someone who's been on the podcast before for the second time, but for the first time now as a co-host, Khanyo Mafunda. Welcome, brother.
Thanks. Seda, thank you for firstly having me on your journey, having me join your journey, having me, piggybacking me, carrying me.
Of course, I'm carrying you.
It's an immense privilege, being here. Me and you, we've been friends for quite some time. I've seen you grow this podcast over the last 2 years. It's something that I'm also passionate about, and hopefully, together we can reach new heights and push passion. You know what I mean?
No, most definitely. Like Kanye said, this has been going on for 2 years. Basically, it's a sports channel. I mean, we're gonna keep it going. I mean, content is gonna be coming on YouTube, on all of our podcast platforms. That's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Breaker, Anchor, Pocket Cast. Links are going to be in the description. Make sure you check that out. Make sure you share, like, comment, subscribe, follow. All of our socials as well. Our personal socials are going to be in the description. Make sure you follow us as well. As well as our socials for the podcast on Instagram at From the Stands Podcast. Make sure you check that out. Khanyo, take us away for today, Power.
Alright, so today we'll be, in the first part we'll be discussing Manchester United. Don't laugh. With regards to Manchester United, just to give us a little bit of context as to where we are in the season, we are currently in second position with 51 points, if I'm not mistaken. Mm-hmm. We're 13 off the top, 14?
Yeah, 14
off the top, which Man City, which has become
a runaway.
Yeah. So that's just context into the situation. So to kick us off, Sandiso will be talking about our weaknesses, strengths, and our expectations. So yeah, say those. What are the glaring weaknesses that you see?
Glaring weaknesses is that our club is a pandemic, first of all. Panorama. I mean, besides that, I think our biggest weakness is our inability to break teams down. Currently, United have had 15 games. We have struggled to break teams down. As it stands, I think we, in the past 10 games, we've won 3 games and drawn 6 and only lost 1. That one was against... what was it against again?
Wasn't it Sheffield?
Yeah, I think it was Sheffield United at home. Yeah, Sheffield United at home. Like, of those 10 games, we've drawn 6. So, drawing 6 games in the past 10, that's dropping.
As title contenders.
It's very poor. It's very poor. Even throughout the season, of the 15 games, Luton Town, it took us 88 minutes to score our first goal, which was only through a penalty. We played that away. Newcastle, it took us 56 minutes to actually break the deadlock, and start leading that game away. Arsenal, we lost at home to a penalty and we failed to break them down throughout the game. I think both teams were very defensively sound or structured, and there was no team that was going for it.
And what do you attribute that to?
I think at the moment, in terms of lately, I think we do miss Paul Pogba. His creativity within the midfield. I think when we start, and I don't blame Oli at the moment, because you look at the players that are available. When you start Fred and McSauce, there isn't, even Matic to a certain extent, there isn't that final ball that goes into the final third. That
unlock the defense.
That unlocks the defense, that breaks the line, that comes into Bruno's feet in the final third, or Marcus, or Mason, Cavani, Tony, all of our forwards. There isn't that ball that actually breaks through and unlocks that defense. I think as well, all 3 players in Fred, Sauce and Matic, I think they're very good players in terms of defensively. They recover the ball very well, and they pass the ball easily, but you find that majority of the passes are sideways, either towards Maguire or Lindelof or the fullbacks. They don't have that pass that goes, or that long pass, that diagonal pass. You don't see much of it. That pass that you would get from a Paul Pogba, or someone who is more creative. I think someone who is meant to kind of fulfill that role also was Donny van der Beek. But I think he struggled to embed his place in the side in terms of when it comes to, I think fitness is a role as well.
Sorry to interrupt, but do you think that Donny is a cam, or do you think he'd be able to play in a more box-to-box number 8 role? Kind of how when Mason Mount's playing in the midfield, kind of how he plays.
Thing is, okay,
that's the closest.
I think there is the closest kind of comparison. I think Mason Mount is probably of his mold. I think if you look at it from a positional sense, I think Donny is a number 8. You know, he's not a number 6. He's not a number. He's not a number 10. He can fill in at number 10, but I think he's more of a number 8. But the number 8 that he is not. He's not your box-to-box type of number 8. He's more of an attacking style number 8.
Yeah, he'd be so like just to think he'd be perfect in, for example, City system. He reminds me of almost our Gundogan.
Yes, exactly.
But we just
exactly.
We just don't have the luxury. Like we don't hold the ball nearly as much
as
or
City
as
does.
well as City
does. Exactly.
And that's I don't know whether that's our playing style or that's just because we lack quality. I think it's a bit of both. Of course, our midfield's doesn't have the greatest passing quality outside of Pogba.
It doesn't.
Even
in terms of quality passes into the final third.
And not even that, just being able to retain the ball. Like, I always say to you, when I love Fred the most is when Fred is intercepting the ball and just passing it immediately. A short pass to Pogba or Bruno or somebody close by who can do something and not asking him. With with Pogba out, we've been asking Fred to punch above his weight. And that's the best I can say. Because for me, Fred, when Fred sits deep and is able to disrupt opposition's attacks, disrupt opposition counter attacks, that's where I think he's also brilliant. Just winning the ball back straight after we've lost it. And then picking out a short pass to somebody who can do something. That for me is prime Fred.
Is at his best. I definitely agree with you. I think for me, like going back to the whole Donny thing, I think he was very unlucky when he wasn't getting a run in the side. When Pogba was in form, Sauce and Fred were also in form. Bruno is irreplaceable, And then when Pogba got the injury that he got, I think Donny also got the injury, and that's when Donny was supposed to. And I mean, I'm not going to try and blame him or put blame on anyone like that. When he was supposed to get an opportunity to get into the side, get a run of games, in terms of, you looked at the Europa games that we were playing, you look at the games that we were playing against West Brom, the smaller teams that we were playing, where you don't necessarily play a Fred and a Maxos or a Fred and Matic.
Even if you do, I guess you just start integrating him
into the system, But then his injury has come at a very bad time, and you would find that Pogba is currently on his way back. I think Donny is also on his way back. So by the time Pogba comes back and is fully fit, or Donny comes back as fully fit, Pogba's already back in the side, and it's back to square one for Donny van der Beek. So I think that was like a big opportunity missed from his side. Hopefully he does get into the side. Hopefully he does get a run of games into the side. I just want to ask you quickly, what do you think about the whole stigma around Wassos Donny van der Beek and him not getting enough game time?
That's exactly what I was about to say. That's just plainly put, it's because he's a Manchester United player. He's playing for the biggest club in the world, which means he has the biggest haters in the world automatically as soon as he signed on. That's how it is. Hakim Ziyech is, I see their situations as similar. Hakim to me is a fraud, but I'd like to see him succeed. That's not what I'm not saying. Just
I think he's on forward watch. Not necessarily a fraud. He's on forward watch. I don't know about that. But
no, Hakim. Okay, fine. Let's say he's on forward watch. Cool. But that's just me being harsh. I know. I can differentiate myself. I know that. I'm saying that because he came in this crazy transfer window that Chelsea had.
Yeah.
I'm trying to just push the agenda. I can.
Rightfully so.
Rightfully so. But I can say, but in terms of how the media and the fan bases have just ignored the the two situations and how they're completely reacting separately to the two situations. I mean, Donny van der Beek, Hakim Ziyech and Kai Havertz have all had large periods of time where they've been out of the side.
Okay.
Understood. But if you were to watch a game where Donny van der Beek features, the commentators cannot keep his name out their mouths.
Even if he features on the bench.
It's always Donny is underperforming, he's underwhelming as a signing, etc., etc., etc. But nothing of the other players. Which is, I'm not trying to say that they should. I'm just looking for consistency. I'm just looking for people in the media, people just to recognize their bias. That's all I'm asking. Just recognize your bias and acknowledge that it is there.
No, I totally get you. I think for me, like looking at it as like holistically, I think as coming from a different league, as a defender, like a centre back and a midfielder, those are the toughest positions to embed into the Premier League. You probably need more time than your other signings to be able to get used to the pace of the Premier League, the style of play, etc., etc., etc. And my problem with Donny van der Beek is that he's not being given the same luxury that the likes of Naby Keita and Fabinho were given when they arrived into Liverpool and the Premier League. Naby Keita coming from Germany, Fabinho coming from France. When Klopp was embedding them into the side and playing them in small spurts, here and there.
It was great player development.
It was great player development. It was applauded as him integrating them into the system, integrating them into getting used to the English play and. But when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was doing the same thing with Donny van der Beek, it's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer not trusting the player. And all three players were big money signings within their own context. So now the whole price tag of Donny van der Beek is being put into context as to how can you sign a 50 million player and not play him or trust him to play, But I feel like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is embedding him into the side and was embedding him into the side. I think, like I said earlier on, he was very unfortunate with the timing of his injury. What are the weaknesses that you've identified with your beloved football club?
The centre back pairing, our centre back pairing. Not that our centre backs, our centre back pairing. I mean, my preferred centre back pairing is Harry Maguire and Eric Bailly. Eric Bailly, including this weekend's game against Crystal Palace where he started, he has now gone 11 games. All right, 11 games, 7 wins, 3 draws. 1 loss. That 1 loss came in that 6-1 pumping that we had at home to Tottenham. That
6-1 pumping. I've got an excuse for it, by the way.
We all know that.
Just
like
we all face of it, just off the bat. I've got an excuse for it, but carry on.
No, we all wrote that game off. That game. Yeah, that game's out the memory. So that's why I'm just putting in where the 1 loss came from.
Yeah.
So besides that, he's gone 10 games without a loss for Manchester United. He has conceded 4 goals. He has kept 7 clean sheets. That's Eric Bailly. So Eric Bailly, he leads our team in clearances at 3.6. He's, I think, averaging 1.7 interceptions, if not 1.6, which puts him behind Maguire. Which is as well what supports the Maguire and Bailly pairing. The one pairing where he's been with Lindelof, he kept a clean sheet in the Europa League on, I think, 4-0 victory or 0-0 draw.
It was 0-0 draw.
But with Maguire and Lindelof, we conceded 3 against Everton, and after being up 2-0 up, we conceded 1 against West Brom, which were second last at the time. And we conceded 1 against Newcastle in a 3-1 win, luckily. But they had Callum Wilson, who's been out for quite some time now, unfortunately. But besides him, at that stage, they had no player who had scored over 2 goals in the whole season. Do you know what I mean? We've conceded 32 goals this season, at the time where I'd done my work. Fulham in 18th position had conceded 34. We are areas leading to goals, and at that time, remember, we've obviously been overtaken by City, but at that time we had scored the most goals in the Premier League. That was one of the only reasons, our attack had been so fruitful. One of the only reasons we've been up. We've been up, like, contending with the league. Areas leading to goals and own goals. We've got 6. West Brom, who were 19th at the time, have 5. We have 8 clean sheets, or 9 now. And Fulham, who are
isn't
18th.
it 10?
Is it 10 now?
I think it's 10 because Chelsea and Palace.
And Palace, So before this game week, and Fulham was 7th before this game week. I had 7 clean sheets, and we were 18th. So our defense and our defensive output, is not title winning, title contending numbers or quality. And that's, I don't bring that. I think Harry Maguire's been good this season. I think Lindelof's been good this season. I just do not think they complement each other.
To go back to the weaknesses that you were mentioning, I think I'm with you with the whole defense thing. I think our defense has been poor this season. Like you said, we've conceded 32 goals of 27 games. We've kept 10 clean sheets of those 27 games. In terms of, for me, the biggest thing is the amount of shots that we allow, at goal, because we're currently conceding, as the data was constructed, we're currently conceding 11.1 shots per game, conceding 32 shots, so like 32 goals. So of the shots that we've conceded, it's taken 8.7 shots to concede a goal for United, and that's guaranteed that we'll concede a goal every game according to that stat, because if you're conceding every 8.7 shots and you concede 11 shots per game, like, you're bound to concede. The best defensive team in the league, being City, is only conceding 15 goals. They concede 6.9 shots per game, and it only takes them 11.5 shots to concede a goal. So they concede a goal every 2 games, on average, and that's the best team. So that's the team you'd look towards in terms of a benchmark, and defensively they've been stone wall solid. Teams that are in and around us, Leicester City is currently conceding 10.6 shots per goal, and they're conceding every 9.8 shots. That's slightly better than us on both ends.
Leicester as a whole are a better defensive team than us, though.
D-rate?
Yes.
Why do you think so?
The data supports it, and they haven't been as great at attacking wise, and yet they up to this game week they were tied with us in points.
I think they have.
So how? So
I don't think.
So how would you not think that, where they haven't been as good attacking wise, yet we are tied with them on points?
Because we concede a lot of goals, man.
That means that they are better than us defensively.
But we also score a lot of goals. That's why we are where we are.
But wait. You just saying exactly what I'm saying.
Okay, wait. No. The thing is, I'm looking at it. I'm not trying to look at it on a stats point of view. I'm just looking at it defensively, how they are, how they set up and stuff like that. I think, are they better defensively? I think they have. I want to say better control shape type of individual players within each positions and combinations. I don't know if they're necessarily a better defensive unit.
We're not a great defensive. Where are you getting the fact that we are even remotely good defensive unit?
I say we aren't good. We are good defensively, but
But they are. They are.
Okay, I'll concede.
They are. They average 17 tackles per game. We're at 14.
But the tackles. Okay.
Interceptions a game. We're at 12. Are they at 12? We're at 10. They centre backs. I'm going to go their three centre backs when they were playing a back three, and because they've had as well huge injuries, which is also another thing. How are they? It's okay. So Justin, Fofana, and Evans, all right, they average Justin 2.7 tackles per game, Fofana 1.7, Evans 1. In total, that's 1.8. Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof 0.8.
Okay,
so
I think that's for me with that. Like, I mean, you can argue that Leicester set up defensively and play on
interceptions.
Set up defensively and play on the counter attack. So I mean, their defensive stats are going to look better.
So what do we do?
I mean, but we have been more attacking this year, though. In this season, we've been like more on the front foot than. I mean, last season I could concede that we're a team that sits back and plays on the counter. Okay. But more this season, I think we've had not majority of possession, but like, I mean, in terms of possession, I think we're sitting on average. I would rate we're sitting in between 55 and 60% of possession.
And Leicester,
they're probably sitting, if not round about 50.
We'll find that out. We'll come back to that.
But like, I mean, like, I mean, United, like, when smaller teams are playing against us, they give us the ball. Like, we have been more attacking, and that's proven by the fact that we've scored 54 goals in 27 games.
I think more than us being more attacking, I just think I don't want that to. I don't give credit to us being more attacking. Obviously I have to give it some credit because obviously that'll be just silly. I just give more of that credit to Bruno and Rashford.
Okay.
More than us being more, but that's something we'll talk about.
No, definitely. Are we done? We're all done with the weaknesses of your club. I mean,
yeah, that's cool. We can move on.
Move on to the strengths. What are your biggest strengths?
Luke Shaw and Aaron Warden Bissaka. Nah, listen. I've been happy. I've been happy with Luke Shaw. Mm-hmm. Been happy with Luke Shaw this season. He's third, I think, amongst our assist leaders in the club at 5, which is as well a problem as it is a strength. It's a credit to him, but not really a credit to our midfield.
Okay.
Because he's behind Bruno.
Wait, are you saying the chances creation?
No. Assists.
Okay.
Assists. He's second in key passes at 2.1 per game. 52 passes per game at 84% completion rate, which is at the time, which is great. Which ranks him 7th among players who complete at least 50 passes a game. Mm-hmm. Which I'm very impressed. He's been going forward. Everything seems to go through Luke Shaw at a point in time. Okay. I mean, we don't go forward unless he's become so influential towards our attack. His passing, his ability to pass in tight spaces, just his confidence on the ball has also just been immense for us. Especially in a team where we don't have a lot of players who look extremely comfortable on the ball. Mm-hmm. He at the time he led the league for defenders and chances created at 45. Second was Robertson at 41. And he at the time led the league in assists in the calendar year in 2021. For Aaron Wan-Bissaka, he is the best defensive right back in the league, arguably in the world.
What's that? Facts.
But he's been exceptional. I've loved him as soon as he's put on a Manchester United shirt. He's
RT likewise.
Yeah, he had we spent 50 M at Crystal Palace. I'm not gonna say I tuned in week in week out for Crystal Palace.
You knew who he was.
Yeah, but I knew he was. Knew he was decent. I was like 50 mil. Whoa. And then as soon as he put on the United T-shirt, I could see why. I could see why.
How money went.
And I could see just a player who loves his craft. You can see he just loves defending. And what I like about it, he was so elite on one end, and people came for him and said on the other end of the pitch attacking wise, he hasn't been that great.
Yeah.
And then he just went, and you can see that he's reaping the rewards of his hard work.
Yeah.
And there's nothing I love more about a player. another player, for example, that we have mixed opinion. I don't think we have mixed opinions on him. I just Dan James.
Yeah.
It's not mixed opinion.
He has a bad rep in the streets, I feel.
And I feel like it's not. I don't know.
To some extent, it's justifiable.
It's justified because he's not great. He's not great. He's not great. He's nice and he's a workaholic.
He is.
That's and another thing I love about Fred. Another thing I love about McTominay. I just need to see that you're wearing exactly. You're wearing your heart on your sleeve. You've got the United badge on your chest. You're willing to graft. For the full 90.
Dan James. We also got Dan James for like 15M.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not like we broke the bank to get
and he's a squad player.
And he's doing exactly what
we brought him in to do.
Last season he wasn't doing that because of like the injuries.
He had to start.
He had to start.
And now he's under the limelight. Then he went and scored like 3 goals in his first 3 appearances, and we were like, "Whoa, what's going on?"
Well, we got an oldie, yeah.
And then the next Leo Messi. The Welsh Leo Messi. But so sorry. Getting back to Aaron Wan-Bissaka, he's 5th in assists, at United, which in the Prem, which is not great as well. It's not great because he's only got 2, so it's not great. But I mean, that's just I'm just showing his improvement going forward. He gets, he's getting the balls into the right areas. It doesn't just look like he's hacking and crosses anymore. Yeah. He's gotten much more comfortable on the ball as well. His passing, I think, has just been a major improvement. Just based off the eye test. He's, I find myself, at times where I think he won't be able to make a pass or a pass will be intercepted. I go, well done, Bissaka, because
you got it.
He leads the team in tackles per game at 3.1. And he's 4th in interceptions at 1.4. He's behind, I think, Eric Bailey, Maguire, and I'd assume Fred.
How many interceptions did you say?
1.4.
Yeah, Fred has got 1.6.
Yeah. So he's got the most blocks in the team, interceptions, and tackles in Europe for United. So I mean, that's just great. That's just great output. I don't think we can ask much more of our fullbacks, except if you tell Rashford to work harder. So as the team stands, I don't think we can ask for much more of our fullbacks. I mean, they're both 4th and 5th in clearances per game. Wan-Bissaka at 1.7, Luke Shaw at 1.5. So in terms of attacking output and defensive output, I feel like that is a clear strength. You can't name me 3 other fullbacks in the league that are better than our fullbacks, and that's a luxury to have.
In each position.
In each position. So
I get you.
Right back.
I mean, I share the same sentiments in terms of our fullbacks. I think they have been very good. I mean, I totally agree with you. I think for me, Aaron Wan-Bissaka has improved immensely in terms of his attacking output. And you can just tell, like I said, I think you mentioned it, with the eye test, the balls that he's actually putting in are balls that are more accurate, they're quicker, I think they're more they go he's got a more variety to his to his crossing. It's not just hoofing it up as you said and hoping for the best. He's actually looking
for right back who plays for Liverpool.
He's actually, and what's also impresses me the most is that he actually looks for the late run into the box type of option, and he tries to find that as more often than not. As your striker pulls the defenders towards goal, towards the 6-yard area, and then you have the late run either from Pogba, from Source, Fred, or Bruno. You'd find that Aaron is looking for that run, or someone cutting back, even like a Rashford from the other side who's trying to cut back into that space. My biggest strength, personally, I think is the mental strength of Manchester United Football Club. We have come from there've been 8 games where we were coming from losing positions. We've won 7 of those and drawn 1. That's a total 22 points from losing games. I don't think there's any team in the Premier League that's matching that stat. All of those games, coincidentally, are also away. So I think that was a good thing. I think the only game that we've lost is like from going like behind first in the league was Sheffield United. We lost that.
That's because we conceded a second after equalizing.
Yeah, I think we scored first against Tottenham, Palace as well. First game. What other games have we lost? Arsenal at home. So yeah, out of all of those bunches of games that we've conceded first, we've picked up 22 points, which I feel is immense. 22 points of 51. That's about 40 to 45%. Clean. I think that's a big strength in terms of our mental strength. The fact that we go behind, we don't easily sulk or easily break down. We actually get more get that vibe to actually get back into the game and actually win the game.
With regards to that, we're 21 games unbeaten away from home.
As it stands.
But just to because you made that as us coming back from behind away from home. In terms of being away from home, what are your thoughts with regards to that even our record? What are your thoughts to people saying that it's not as impressive because obviously there are no crowds, COVID. Being at home is not seen as that much as an advantage anymore, or being away is not seen as that much as a disadvantage. What do you think?
I think in general within the Premier League under COVID times, teams are doing better away than they are doing at home. I think Leicester's also another side that is like evidence of that. I think they've picked up about close to double their points away than at home. So I think that is a factor. I think COVID being, or the lack of fans being a thing, I think it does play a role. But I don't think we should take away from what United has done. Because the 22 games unbeaten away aren't just only under COVID. I think we had 5 or 6 games under normal circumstances. So and crowds or no crowds, bro. What other team has done better? From what I know, it's only Arsenal. I think it is the invisible team that has done better. No other team has been able to get to this feat. So crowds or no crowds, I don't think it's. I think it does play a role. I think it does play a factor, but I don't think you should take away from the fact that United has been able to go 22 games away from home unbeaten. How can you fix this club, my boy? How can you fix?
I think that's the key to move on to the transfer market.
If you were to go to the transfer market as it stands, how would you fix this United side?
All right. So, I'm looking, I don't know. I'm right now with regards to centre backs. I've of course we'd like to reinforce it immediately. But what I think we should do, right? Maybe wait it out to see. Wait it out maybe another year. All right. My prime why I say this, all right, is to try and get Wesley Fofana, who has just joined Leicester.
Ooh. Okay.
So he's just joined Leicester for a fee of 36.5 M. Right. Hopefully in a year's time we're able to come. I honestly think if we want to, and I definitely from what I've seen I think he's that good. And obviously just to take another year just to suss him out. In the Prem, just to suss him out, and then hopefully we swoop in for around 50 M, 60 M, which is where I think his market value will be if he has another season like he's had this season.
Okay.
Or if we're looking for a fix right now, Tarkowski. We get Tarkowski, who you laugh. But Tarkowski is quality. He averages 1.3 interceptions a game, which will put him third in our centre backs. Which that's if we're looking to fix the issue right now, I think we're looking to get a third centre back, who's our first option off the bench or first option when we rotate. Because I still, I believe in Bali and Maguire.
Okay. But I mean, Bai is not the most fittest.
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
You see.
Okay.
So, he averages 4.4 clearances a game, which leads our team, which would lead our team.
Mm-hmm.
1 block a game, which is only behind Eric in terms of our centre backs, and allows defenders to dribble past him only 0.4 times per game.
Okay. For me, I've got one question for you.
Mm-hmm.
In your starting lineup, we all know by his injury record, so whatever centre backs is going to come in is probably going to play majority of the games if by his track record continues the way that it is. Would you rather have Tarkowski over Lindelof? Yes. Personally, I wouldn't have Tarkowski over Lindelof. You do make good points. I think for me,
if we're talking how we'd like, that's why I said, for example, Tarkowski, I can see him as a right now kind of fix.
Can I give you a name who I'd rather have over Tarkowski? Tyrone Mings.
Yeah, of course, but Aston Villa's not letting go of Tyrone Mings for me.
Of course, yeah. But that's for me.
No, of course.
For me, Tarkowski doesn't give me that.
What would you think Aston Villa would give us for? I'm looking also like.
He's trying to be realistic. Yeah. I think for me, realistically, the target that I would go for is Michael Keane. He's at a good age. I think he's 27 years old. Puts in 0.7 tackles per game, 1.3 interceptions per game, 0.9 blocks per game. He's got an 87.7 passing rate, and wins 2.7 aerial duels per game. So he gives you that aerial presence.
Mm-hmm.
He's good on the ball. He's got some pace. Nyana plays alongside Harry Maguire, England side. So that could be a partnership that could work for both England and for United.
Do you think he's going to the Euros?
Michael Keane, definitely. He's definitely going. So for me, I think I'd rather that's my target in terms of centre backs, and I think you can probably get him out of Everton for about 50 to 60 more.
It's expensive.
That's the thing. The thing is, at the moment, I think it's being touted out that we are looking for a centre back. So whatever centre back we do go for,
and you think it would be worth it to buy Michael Keane for 60M?
Yeah, because
for me, Managa's on record. Michael Keane for 60M.
For me, Michael Keane starts ahead of Lindelof. And that's the issue that I'm looking at. Does a player start ahead of Lindelof?
Cool. No worries. I don't mind you looking at that. All right. I mind you saying that you're comfortable with spending 60M on Michael Keane.
My boy, English tags, United tags. Ultimately, I would pay 45M for Michael Keane, and I'll be happy.
40.
We can go 45. But
yeah, when we're paying strong-armed, there's no chance I am happy with my United. Woodward. Do not listen to this man.
That judge.
Do not listen to this man. Do not listen to this man.
You have a position you would look at?
I would look
at right wing. Can I just go quickly?
Of course. Take it away.
Jadon Sancho. He was supposed to be our number 7 at the beginning of the season. It didn't happen.
And then they tried to United. Don't do this to us. You didn't have to do that to us, but you did anyway. They did. I think don't take us for a ride. I don't want to swear on.
And they took us for him. From the time I did my research, 13 goals, 12 assists in all competitions, 2.2 key passes per game, 2.5 dribbles per game, 84.5 passing accuracy, and 0.9 crosses per game. I think for me, the only reason I would have Jadon Sancho is because 1, he's young. 2, he's English. 3, he wants to come to my club. 4, he balances out our attack, because I think as it stands, Mason Greenwood is doing a phenomenal job on the right, but I don't think he is a right winger, and we need someone who is a right winger. I think in terms of, if you're looking at it positionally, the last right winger that we signed was Antonio Valencia, and I was still under Fergie, I think, so yeah, like, I mean, we do need someone who actually plays on the right and sticks to the right, not someone who's gonna
left winger.
He's a left winger technically. So yeah, we need someone who plays on the right, who's gonna play predominantly on the right, and just give us more balance on the right and more attacking options, because I think at the moment we attack predominantly on the left, and I think you mentioned it earlier with Luke Shaw, how like our attacks always go through him, and I think that's because we are more left-sided dominant. So yeah, I think that's the signing that we need. Jadon Sancho, make it happen. Matt Charges.
Yeah, that's as well. I completely agree with that. As an alternative to Jadon Sancho, I would look into Leon Bailey. Young talent. We could, right now his market value is sitting at around 35 euros. With United tax, I can expect it
45.
to go to 50. I can easily expect it to go to 50, even higher than that, to be dead honest. Knowing how clubs negotiate with us, I could easily, I say 50 because that's his market value now. I could see it by the time we're thinking about even thinking about making a move to him, could easily go 260 M.
260 M,
yeah. And I think he's just as an alternative to Jadon, because I also rate Jadon highly. I think he's just got a beautiful football mind.
Yeah.
When I've seen him, he very rarely makes the wrong decision. And that's something we need. Like, we just need a lot. We just need a lot of that into our side.
Yo.
The more players we can bring, into our side that are able to do that, the better.
Yeah.
Because that's something we just like. But just for some figures on Leon Bailey, he makes 1.6 key passes per game. That would put him third in United. 2.6 dribbles, completes 2.6 dribbles per game. That ties first with Rashford. At the time, he had 5 goals and 6 assists in the Bundesliga, and 8 goals. That's in 21 matches, and 8 goals. 5 goals in 8 appearances in the Europa League.
Whoa.
And I think he's the second leading goal scorer for Bayer Leverkusen. So he's very creative. He's a young talent. I think he's Jamaican.
Yeah, he's Jamaican. He's Jamaican.
I could just see him, bringing that extra bit of creativity into United. I mean, his goal contributions would put him third in our side already. Obviously, the Bundesliga is not the Prem, but same can be said for Sancho. So, just as an alternative, and you're looking at a trade-off, at a price difference. If we get him for 50 M, Leon Bailey, Sancho's at least going for double that. So if we don't land Sancho, we need to have plan Bs. Like, we just need to have plan Bs in line. And I hope they do. I hope United do.
Or your team.
Or just hire us, United. Hire us.
See the expectations, my boy. Tell me what are you expecting from
realistically
from your side.
Realistically, my expectations have altered a lot in this past week. I hate to be the one to say it. I always believe. I always have hope in my side, but I feel like especially these last two games were probably the biggest, most important 2 games of the league.
Chelsea and Crystal
Palace leading up to City.
Yeah.
And we drew both.
No more.
They were huge games. If we could have come away in those games, 6 points out of 6, I think we'd only be trailing then 9. No, we'd be trailing 12, and hopefully, imagine us grabbing a result against City Now we
to take it to 9 points.
Take it 9 with about 10 games left.
Now we've got a title race.
That's a title race. Now we're sitting at 14. We've drawn 6 of the last 10. City have won 20. What? 21 on the trot.
21 games on the trot.
And I don't like saying it, but I think it's just about done. So my expectation for the season, we need to win Europa. We need to make it to the FA Cup final. And then we need to finish second. Anything below second is not.
We're closer to City than last season. Personally, I have the same expectations. I think winning Europa. I think getting to the FA Cup final would be good. And I mean, there's also talks about how they're probably going to allow fans in the FA Cup final. So with at least, I think it's going to be at least 10,000 of United fans or 10,000 each. I'm not 100% sure. With whatever number of fans, United fans at Wembley Stadium, that's the chances of us winning whatever team that we are playing in a once-off game, I think I would fancy our chances, So us making FA Cup final will be a good start. I think we have to beat Leicester away in the next couple of weeks. Oh my God, Europa League, I think we're playing Milan as well. The Bishop's done, pal.
But we drew 0-0 to Crystal Palace.
I think Europa League as well. Like I would like to win Europa League. I think we do need a trophy. Man. I mean, I think that's United done now. What a club. Just carry on. I think that's it from United. I mean, spoken quite in depth about the weaknesses of the side in terms of our opinions, the strengths, where we think we should improve, where we would like to be at the end of the season. Anything from your side?
Nothing from my side. Hopefully it does get better. As well, as a first time, host with my boy here, I feel like it's been awesome, engaging, doing something that we love. We clearly, it was clearly natural. Like it felt, it felt really good to be out here with you. So again, thank you for having me on board, and I'm excited to see where it goes.
Definitely. Like we said at the beginning, guys, make sure you guys check out our socials. Socials are going to be in the description. Personal socials, the socials of the podcast, at From the Stand Sportscast on Instagram. We are going to be on YouTube. We are going to be on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Pocket Cast, Breaker, all of those.
Subscribe, like, share this video. And
the podcast.
And the podcast. Listen to the podcast. We'll be giving you content every week. On a weekly basis. We're both students, so we both do our best to try juggle both. But we'll make it happen. Because this is what we love as well. Just talking about sports. So if you're excited for this journey, you want to join us, please tag along. Please tag along.
That's it.
And we'll see you next week.
That's it from my side. Sandiso out.
Khanyo Mafunda out.